held you down for the longest, and hours after all of your darkest moments. Feels just like yesterday.
3001, welcome to Monday, the 25th of February, something like that. It's been an absolute beauty out here, clear in 71. This is the California I love. They locked me out of the gate. That's annoying. I open it when I get here. I'm here the whole time, yet when people leave, they still close it. Anyhow, I've been working on this. Got this rear suspension pretty much all taken out. All the coilovers are now out. There's the rears, the fronts are over there. I'm going to take these arms off when the subframe comes out. It'll just be easier, and they're not in the way right now. There's two things up here. One of them is a charcoal canister. I don't even know what that does or why it's there, but that's where it is. Here's the fuel tank, obviously. I got both axles out. I pushed that piece back in. That came out with one of the axles, but I pushed it back in. When I took this side apart, I used a gear puller, and surprisingly easily, the axle shaft came out of the bearing and rear spindle. And then I took the bearing out and took the dust cover off, and all of that's apart. And there's the rear H-arms. This side, I used the biggest gear puller I had, used the impact gun, pounded on it for 10 minutes, and it will not budge. And of course now the whole thing spins because it's not connected to anything. So I don't know how that's going to come apart. That might just be scrapped the way it is, which would suck, but I don't see a way to get that axle out of there. Then I moved on to the exhaust, which is now completely gone. Believe it or not, Nate, these things came off very easily. 12mm nuts. I did lose like that little thing's welded over here. Well, the weld broke, so I just put a wrench on it, and then the bolt came off, and there's the cats, the center section. So that's a good piece ready to sell. And I got the one axle, just got all the tools cleaned up. I'm gonna head out here shortly. Here's a whole mess of hardware and bolts and brake rotors. They're great rotors. They're in nice shape. There's one of the calipers. I don't remember what I did with the other caliper. Integral links, caliper carriers, pads, parking brake hardware. I actually don't know where that other caliper is. It's over there somewhere. But the only thing holding this rear subframe in right now, there's no wiring on it, obviously. All the suspension's taken apart. I think it's the 4 subframe bolts, and then the diff mates to the axle, right, or the drive shaft right there. So tomorrow, if I have time for disassembly work, I will probably pull the drive shaft out, maybe the rear subframe, all of this heat shielding up to here. Because this engine has sold. We need to take it out of this car, so we're working towards that every day. These are the oxygen sensor wires. I was able to remove those and save them because they're good sensors. I used an open 22mm 7/8 on that, got them out. They're still good. There's no front suspension left. There's no rotors left, or no calipers on this car. I've just shoved the brake lines up through there so they don't drip. Subframe, or the front sway bars loose, just waiting on the front subframe to come down so we can wriggle that out. And it's pretty well taken apart. Day 3001. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for all the comments yesterday. That was cool to wake up to. Well, I didn't wake up to it since I didn't upload it last night, but cool to come back to after I was at the shop for a few hours and came back and had all these emails and people who don't generally comment, leaving some, hey, I started on day 1400 and I remembered this. And a lot of you remember the flip videos, which is hilarious because I had so many of those things. Remember the Ultra HD, they had 720, well, it was 480p, then it was 720, then it was 1080, then they got to 1080 by 60, and then just boom, they disappeared. I don't know what happened to them, if somebody bought them or they just gave up on it, or the invent of invent? Grammar Nazi, let me know. The new cameras, the little point and shoots that could, boom, all of a sudden do 1080p 60 video came out, like this, the ELPH PowerShot 360 HS. They kind of blow the flip out of the water. If you go back at the old videos, they're super low resolution. They could never focus on anything. It was kind of the one-size-fits-all of focusing. It would try to get the foreground and the background, but then actually, in actuality, you kind of had nothing in focus. It was very, very poor. Having said that, they were so convenient to just flip out the little USB thing, plug it into the side of the computer, import the footage, and charge the battery at the same time. That part of the flip has not been rivaled. Yeah, nobody's beat that yet. Nobody has beaten that at all. They haven't even tried. Right now, the batteries on this camera, I bitch about it all the time, they don't last at all. Some of them only last like 40 or 50 seconds. It's stupid. Anyways, I was at the shop today all day, taking stuff apart, invoices, spreadsheets, shipping. I attempted to ship some door seals to Canada, and I got over to FedEx, I had the label printed off, boom, I get hit with a $20 import custom fee bullshit Canadian charge. They're supposed to be nice up there. Why are they doing that? Then they need a commercial invoice, even though I didn't claim that it was commercial. All of this crap, and I stand there in line, they can't find the form, they have to go online to print one, they don't know what I have to fill out. I said, hey, what happens if I just don't ship this? And they're like, oh, we won't bill you for the label you have. So I left. I'm not going to ship to Canada. And I regret to do that because there's a lot of wonderful E39 loving people in Canada, absolutely, but it costs me a lot more money and just so much more aggravation to try to ship to Canada. So at this point in time, I'm announcing E39 Sources only shipping in the 50 states. I'll ship to Alaska, I'll ship to Hawaii if you pay for it, but nowhere else right now. What do we got tomorrow? Tomorrow's Tuesday. I've got a very busy day tomorrow. I have a trip on Wednesday, so I got to clean the car, I got to take a shower, I got to get a haircut, I got to pack a suitcase, I got to get through the mail, I got to do the vlogs, I got to download stuff to watch on an airplane. It's a whole day. So I'm going to get started on that. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, Tuesday, 3002. Good night.